This is a banner day in the Big East. First Christmas Day game in Big East history. Santa having himself a libation. Sweaters not only at the table here, but across the CHI Health Center. And one of the really great places to watch a basketball game in the Big East. Consistently large and loud crowds here in Omaha, Nebraska, as we bring you the starting lineup sponsored by Jeep. There's only one. It's the lineup that Creighton fans have been hoping for together once again, like the Butler game, along with the DePaul starting lineup that has Errol Penn in it. We do expect Jalen Terry to come back from injury as DePaul tries to get healthy now this season.
The challenge with any coach when you lose, especially a rim protector inside like Nick Ogenda, it's tough to replace that because he works well with a lob threat off the pick and roll, but also you can push up a little bit more defensively for your guards to protect, because you know you have a rim protector. So, and trying to figure out the ebbs and flows once they get back into the lineup of how to fit them back in. So now it's congruent with everything you're doing. Always a challenge. Every school is going through it. Hopefully DePaul will get healthy soon.
Merry Christmas to all of you watching and celebrating. So glad to have you as part of our day, and vice versa. DePaul and Creighton, and we are underway. Creighton in the light blue and DePaul in the black jerseys. It is a small lineup for DePaul. They may get Yorane back in this game from a foot injury as well. He hasn't played since mid-November. First shot of the ball game is no good for Deshaun Nelson. And here comes the tremendous passer, Ryan Nembhard, off to the wing. And it's Baylor Shireman, the transfer from South Dakota State, the first Creighton three.
Well, two things. One, Kalkbrenner inside on Nelson, able to defend, and Nelson left it short. And then immediately in transition, you see the push by Nembhard and Shireman, one of the best in the country at catch and shoot, especially in transition.
There's Javen Johnson with the miss for DePaul. One and done for the Blue Demons, and Nembhard is going to take a tour of all of Nebraska before he dropped it off, and a miss from Arthur Kaluma. A foul on the second chance, though. That's where you miss Kalkbrenner on the defensive end, right?
Well, listen, this team is 7-3 when he's in the lineup for a reason, 0-3 when he's not. Because he can defend the paint. You don't have to help inside. And then once you get that stop, you're able to get out and transition. DePaul, early on, listen, you got to know where Baylor Shireman is at on the court. He's shooting 37% from behind the three-point line. You can't give him anything early and allow this Creighton team to gain momentum and also get the crowd in the court.
Free throw for Kalkbrenner, who, with him out, they are minus 8.5 rebound margin. With him in the lineup, they're plus 7.5.
Well, also, we're going to do a graphic a little bit later in this broadcast that kind of highlights why you need him in the lineup. I mean, his importance, not just scoring the basketball, but defensively, what he does for other players like Ryan Nembhard in the pick and roll.
Penn missed the three, and the rebound for Shireman and Creighton. A lot of contact there, and finally the foul called against Gibson, his first. Hey, if all you want for Christmas is a chance to win $1,000, then you should be playing Fox Bet Super 6. Download the free Super 6 app on your phone now, and then enter your 6 game predictions from today's matchup for a chance to take home $1,000. Easy as that. High-low pass in for Kalkbrenner. Back out, Kaluma got the flyby and a drive. It is Nembhard to the rim, and he lost it off of his body out of bounds. First season for Tony Stubblefield, who was with Dana Altman for a long while at Oregon. He's actually an alum of Nebraska, Omaha, very familiar with this area.
He is, you know, in the second season, trying to build through the transfer portal, but also some young players that he's able to recruit. Because that was one of the biggest things that he had in his belt at Oregon, was his ability to recruit young men to come out and play in the Northwest.
Yeah, tremendous recruiter. That was the reputation he had. Another shot fake, Kaluma, and he knocks down a jumper from the corner. It's 7-0 Creighton.
Yeah, and DePaul has had a bad habit of getting off to a slow start. Getting down double digits early has been kind of a pain point for Coach Stubblefield, and you continue to have to reload and scrap and claw to get back in the game.
Nelson got 2 there, the first bucket for DePaul. And on the other end, Kaluma holds on to the release as he buries a 3. Yeah, DePaul didn't get to 10 before Northwestern got to 25 in their last game 8 days ago.
Well, you got to give Northwestern a lot of credit. One of the best defensive teams in the Big Ten. Chris Collins has that group really focused in on defense. But to your point, DePaul, predicated a lot. Their success is on if the ball is going in the basket, but you can't allow your defense to be affected by that.
What a cut by Kaluma. He missed it on the doorstep, though. And the rebound down for Johnson and DePaul. Nelson on the drive. He got met by Kalkbrenner, and you see how he changed his offensive pass.
Well, he did. That time defensively rotated over, and Kalkbrenner right there, able to run in transition, gathering himself.
Oh, a block from behind, nicely knocked away by DePaul defensively in pen. And here is Gibson. Into the corner, and Geberwood with the miss. Rebound down for Kaluma. No shortage of threes in this ball game. Shireman the miss. And Creighton was an offensive team under Greg McDermott. Last year, they had to rely more defensively.
And sometimes as a coach, you have to figure out your personnel and make the adjustment to what best fits that roster construction at the time. But this particular iteration of his group is more so getting back in transition again in half court, utilizing the three-point line as a lethal weapon for your offense. And right on time, it was Ryan Nembhard behind that screen.
Missed the three. It looks a lot more like the team that came into the Big East back in 2014, the Creighton Bluejays. Johnson faded right, and the rebound for Shireman. Into the post, Kaluma. And he got fouled. He'll go to the line when we come back. Busy Arthur Kaluma.
Well, he is. Arthur right now filling in the spirit right now. He's not into giving. He's into taking right now with these early shots. I love the pull-up jump shot. This young man has a lot of game in his arsenal right now. The Blue Jays are up 6.
This book has helped me reach
48-40. Why? Because he gets some easy shots inside. He creates opportunities. Points per game. You're down 9 points per game. And opponent's points, okay, 66-75. Why? Because you don't have a rim protector inside that can guard one-on-one. Even when Ryan is not getting one of his 2+ block shots, he's able to influence his opponents inside because of his height. So you're constantly looking out the side of your eyes, your peripheral vision. Okay, where's he at? Where's he coming to?
Mm-hmm. So you're always thinking about that as you're going to the rim.
Well, you think about it because, one, it's reiterated a lot in your scouting report. That Kalkbrenner is going to be in the lane.
Yep.
So unless he's clearly on the perimeter, you know that he's stalking somewhere, and you have to be ready for a nice little pull-up. And that's why, Creighton plays this drop defense. You have to attack that pull-up jump shot and feel comfortable that you can make it over the top, because if you try to get to the rim, that's when that 7+ foot frame comes into play.
And that's what DePaul adds with the guy who set the screen there. Yor Ane, who freed up the jump shot for Johnson. It's his first game since November 14th with a foot injury, and a big addition for the Blue Demons.
A little matchup zone, trying to switch up a little bit with Creighton, and it worked that time. And talking to Coach Stubblefield, it's a matter of them not allowing Creighton to be comfortable in their half-court sets.
More than a decade now for Greg McDermott, who last year at this time on Christmas was in warmer climates, but he's got a game to coach here today. Greg was very proud of the cameo he got from his son last night.
Oh, yeah.
His son Doug got him a cameo from David Ross, the manager of the Cubs, and Rossi wishing him well. Greg McDermott, a big-time Cub fan, playing against Chicago's team. DePaul here, miss for Johnson. Penn had it for a moment and had it pried free by Nembhard. Shireman was setting up for the three, didn't have it. Nembhard forcefully calling out a play. Kaluma, 2 bluffs on the three, met by Ane. Nembhard knocks down a 3.
You know what? Ane did a really good job of cutting Kaluma off on the baseline. But then once you overhelp up top, that's when you got to decipher and determine whether you need to help or not. That opened up the jump shot for Ryan Nembhard.
There's Ane. Nice catch. Rimmed it out. This is 5-on-4 if Creighton hurries. Ane's in the backcourt. Oh, boy. Frederick King down low. The freshman wanted the ball. He was open. Nobody saw him.
Kaluma missed him a little bit, but you'd rather not force it when he's not, you know, a second later in the turning the basketball over anyway. This is an opportunity for DePaul to get these kind of turnovers against Creighton. You got to get out and run. You got to try to exploit it, get an opportunity to play against and not set defense. And oh my goodness, Gibson, come on, talk to me. Right on cue.
Nembhard, pull up. Oh, he's feeling it right now. Ryan Nembhard, his brother Andrew with the Indiana Pacers, had a great career at Florida and Gonzaga. Jalen Terry into the ball game for DePaul, back from injury as well. So the Blue Demons getting a little bit healthier here. Gibson out to Terry. Missed it for 3 at the horn, and Kaluma clears the rebound.
Good look that time by Jalen. Get right into the sight line of Gibson to receive the pass.
Yeah, that has to be something. It's a travel. Shireman wanted the ball, I think. Look at this thing. Yeah.
What you got?
I want to try and do that on your hoop.
What? This one right here, Gibson? Yeah. So here's the problem. You got to be able to be creative and have some athleticism. I don't know if that fits your build a little bit. You're a genius up here, so you're a real heady player. But the athleticism part, that might be a little different.
So you're saying like I could have played in a Pete Carrill offense?
Oh, big time.
Is that what you're?
Okay, you read and react all day long.
Give me Gabe Llewellyn's back cut and I'll find him any day. Here's Terry for DePaul. And nice hands there, taken away by Nembhard again. He's got a trailer. That's Farabello. Alexander made himself available, and he just whipped it out.
He did. A good transition defense that time by DePaul. You coughed it up, but you're able to get back and take away a layup and then in transition. These are the kind of shots, too, if you're DePaul. You got to be, you know, you got to be a little bit more decisive on what you want to do in your shot selection.
A little more selective, too.
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Decisive in their selection because you're down. If you don't have it initially, say it's a wide open shot in transition, work it a little bit more, get this Creighton defense moving, see if you can get some easier baskets, get yourself to the free throw line. You're an excellent free throw shooting team at 79%.
Yeah.
So utilize that when you may be going through a drought where you can't see the ball go through the net offensively.
How do you convince a team that's lost a bunch to not play hero ball a little bit?
Well, it's just, you know, coaching staff, any coaching staff, you have to be really good at psychology. Mm-hmm. You have to be a psychology teacher in order for these young men sometimes to get it in. Trey Alexander able to knock in that. It's a tough ask because you don't see success from it immediately. Mm-hmm. And these young men are trying to figure out ways to win some games.
DePaul 6-6. 0-1 so far in the Big East. Nelson goes baseline on Nembhard, who got the length out in front of him again.
It's just, you have to have Kalkbrenner on the move in order to attack him. If he's able to set those puppies inside the lane and use that length, it's going to be extremely difficult for post players to get a clean look at the rim, as we saw with Nelson.
He's so good in the screen game there, too, although Nembhard coughed it up. Gebra with the intercept for DePaul. Johnson traveled or carried or something. It's a turnover.
It was a violation. Yeah. I'll tell you what, nobody's more happy that Ryan Kalkbrenner is back than Ryan Nembhard. Why? 11 points in the last game, and he feels comfortable. But right now, off to an early start, 2 for 3, 6 points. Loving every minute of it. Merry Christmas.
Greatest Christmas present would probably be a Fisher-Price hoop. Me and my brother broke it in like a week, so that's the best one for sure.
That was definitely the gift we got. Like almost every year, we would break it within the first month. We would be dunking on it all day. But yeah, those are good memories for sure.
Limited this wing.
The only thing that's hurting us, they're not running anything that's hurting us. It's all transition and getting matched up, guys. And then we got to take better shots on that end. We're going to shoot it like you mean it, man. You got to go at him or kick it out and sprint out to the pick and roll. They're not going to give you nothing fading away from the basket. It's going to be hard to go over top of it. Kick it back out.
Second year for Tony Stubblefield. What do you make from what he said in the huddle there?
Well, listen, your best defense, in particular in transition, is your offense in shot selection. Because if you shoot it quick and you have an unbalanced lineup, then you're not going to be able to get back in transition and even allow Creighton to have some easier opportunities. So the patience part on DePaul, but also attacking a little bit more of the dribble like this right here. With Kalkbrenner, he's going to lay back, so you have to be able to decipher, do I take this shot right here, a little runner, or do I get all the way, attract Kalkbrenner, and drop it off?
Here's Kalkbrenner. Oh, stopped on a dime on the kick to the corner, and Miller missed the three. Three in the air is good for Cruz, the freshman from Trenton, New Jersey.
That's an example of very good transition offense. The ball got up quickly. It touched the corner, shrunk the defense, and then Cruz was able to step nicely into a wide-open three-point shot.
Alexander answers for three, his second of the ball game. Now Creighton has 18 points off threes to this point. Gebrewit off the juggle, fired the three. Maybe a little early there. Alexander, high-low pass, and into the forest it goes, and a whistle against DePaul.
We'll go back to Paul. You're able to get the stop. Miller misses the corner jump shot. But look, immediately DePaul is up the court. Creighton is backpedaling, not really matched up, and you touch the corner. Cruz, the miscommunication that time between Miller, open up the opportunity to get that open shot, and you're going to need more of that if you're DePaul to be able to kind of crack the code defensively against Creighton.
There's a back tap, nicely done by Gibson. On the kick, Nelson for three, missed it. DePaul settling a little bit.
A little bit in transition now. Nelson, you got an opportunity to take a look at it, but you're only shooting 33% from behind the three-point line. I don't know if catch and shoot from in transition may be your game at this point. Sometimes you need to turn down those shots to get a better one, and speaking of which,
Kalkbrenner from way out there. Follow is good on the reverse for Alexander, who's got 8 early. Kalkbrenner called for the foul. They're going to wave off the shot. It's no good. So Kalkbrenner shoots the three. Somebody's got to find a rebound.
They do, but Trey Alexander did an excellent job of getting on the inside of Jalen Terry and kind of anticipating where the shot was going off. And that's what you call in basketball a good miss. You say why? Because it came off softly, even though it was a long shot. So it didn't bounce to the corners or back out long. It bounced off soft enough for Trey Alexander to be able to rebound, catch, and finish.
Ball trailing by 12 here. A little bit in a rush. Terry in the corner, he knocks down a three over Mitchell, and it's 25-16.
And it feels like this game is a 20-point game, but it's not. Now you cut that lead down to 9 because you're able to rely on some patience and get a really good shot by Terry. Now defensively is when you have to get consecutive shots, and you have one right now with a chance to run.
Alexander on the miss for three. Again, a three. It's Johnson, and it's 6 in a row for DePaul, leading to a timeout for Greg McDermott.
It's all about defense. You get some stops. This DePaul team, let me tell you something. When they're knocking down threes, it's a totally different. You get some stops, you feel good about yourself, able to dribble, penetrate. Jalen Terry in the corner, able to knock it down. Welcome back, and not to be outdone. David Johnson able to knock in another three to cut into this lead.
And shot selection. And it looks like he's getting into his guys on that a little bit in that huddle.
Because his demeanor was calm, because he's kind of laughing a little bit, saying to his guys, listen, we can get any shot we want. Why settle and force an off-the-dribble three-point shot when you really don't have to? Here's a turnover.
Batted away by Terry to the rim. Alexander's challenge didn't get him to stop.
Yeah, little 1-2-2 zone press by Coach Stubblefield coming out the timeout, created another opportunity in transition off of the steal for Terry. DePaul has really locked in defensively the last couple of minutes to really get into this lead and now cut it down to 4.
8 turnovers, Jimmy, already for Creighton today on an average of about 11 for the season per game. Kaluma with 2, got to get it off, and he did not. Let's see. It is a shot clock violation.
Excellent communication that time by DePaul up top. Kaluma wanted to swing the ball to Nembhard, but I didn't see who was in the play. It may have been Terry Gibson that kind of took the pass away, that forced Kaluma to have to take a contested shot down the lane. And DePaul right now, the energy has somewhat shifted. The crowd is now a little quieter as DePaul is on this run.
Getting a little restless here in Omaha. A sizable crowd. Ane on the drive, got to the rim, couldn't finish, and the rebound, Shireman, who's a great rebounder from the guard spot. And a great shooter. Like that.
You know what I don't like about Shireman?
What's that?
Is that he shot 47% last year from 3, and now he's only shooting 38.
Hey, do better.
Dude, you got to do better than that. No, but it's a different level of competition. He doesn't have the ball in his hands as much, not taking as many shots, but you see the range in which he has right there in transition.
He led the Summit League in rebounding last year at 6'7". How about that?
Well, how about this? He leads the country in defensive rebounding right now, a little over 8.6 a game. That's more than Oscar Sheboy and Zach Edey, who are 7-footers basically in college basketball.
Long rebound for Terry. Wouldn't imagine anybody leads Zach Edey in rebounding anything.
Well, you know, he makes it up too on the offensive end too, by getting more offensive rebounds than Shireman, but that says a lot. But you know, he's done that. I think he's had like 25 double-doubles to his career right now. So he's been doing his, you know, when he was at South Dakota State as well.
Playing for the Jackrabbits out there, perennial NCAA tournament challenger. Nembhard has a nay on him. He drives by him, turns around, and scores. That's pretty.
Good to see Ryan back aggressive. You know, during that 6-game stretch, Ryan Nembhard was only shooting about 34%, 17 from behind 3. So, you know, Creighton fans and the coaching staff are good to see him have some more opportunities there to knock it in.
We were talking about Shireman. He is our player to watch, sponsored by Geico. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. 20 straight games with at least 2 threes coming into today. He's got 21 now. And we saw Ethan Rogge do this a lot. The trailer 3.
Big time. And Ethan was a little bit taller, but what Shireman brings to the table is, one, he can rebound the basketball. We talked about that. But his ability right now with the lefty to catch and shoot in transition, or coming off of a downstream, he forces you to have to help. Listen, he came here with 20 straight games with multiple three-pointers made. Okay, that's second in Division I.
He's a double-double machine with 7 of them. I mean, you look at those guys on that list, and you would imagine that for Zach Edey, right? Exactly. How tall he is, and then Baycott, how hard he plays in the post. But Shireman, who floats a little bit, can shoot it. What an addition for Greg McDermott.
Well, did you know, in high school in Aurora, little football player, quarterback.
Yeah.
4,000 yards, 59 passing touchdowns in 2018.
State title.
State title. Multi-dimensional. Said I can do more than just hoop.
Yeah, it's interesting reading about Greg McDermott's recruiting of him, because he was looking at Sharif Mitchell. They played together as kids. Shireman and Mitchell did. And Baylor Shireman admits he wasn't exactly ready for somebody like Greg McDermott to recruit him. He was a pretty small guy, wiry guy. And he was
at the
easy
time,
to look at the time, back then when they were playing together. Yeah.
Yep.
And now he's kind of grown into the body, and his phone was ringing off the hook when he went to the transfer portal.
Well, but he fits the mold of what Coach McDermott and his offensive schematics are. You know, a versatile wing player that can knock down the three, that can defend, can rebound, and make plays like that off the dribble, and really good passer. So he fits the mold of what you want to do here offensively in Creighton.
Alexander off the find from Nembhard for three. They are so aware of who is free at the perimeter, and Penn got caught in between. It's a travel.
This is the value when you have, you know, Ryan Kalkbrenner inside, because all eyes are kind of where is he at. And now once you go in for the double coming off top, and I talked about you really don't want to double, you don't have size because he can pass over the top. And when you do that, now you're going to lend yourself to being outnumbered on the weak side of the court.
Kalkbrenner the screen. You talked about how Nembhard loves having him back. He tried to seal there for Nembhard, didn't find the hoop, at a travel. But that was the type of possession that Greg McDermott was talking to us about, how Nembhard utilizes Kalkbrenner's size.
He does, because Kalkbrenner does a couple things well. One, he sets the initial screen well. But if the opposing defender can get over the top, he sets the second screen immediately. Now Nembhard can pick and choose if he wants to go back off of it. That's just instinctive, but from two players who have played together.
Cruz, floater, well short. Shireman wants to run. And run he does. Bodies everywhere. Nembhard, floater, window, no dice. And we have a foul against DePaul on a clear out away from the ball.
There's Nelson trying to get deep post position on a smaller Miller inside. We'll see right there at the back, the elbow. Got him. Mason took the blunt of that. It's funny, I saw his father, Mike, who I played against in the NBA, but I saw him in I was going to get my pretzel.
Mike Miller?
Yeah, Mike Miller. He's doing a heck of a job being an agent right now. Of course, he coached at Memphis, and he couldn't be proud. He said, listen, I'm more nervous watching my son play. I said, than any time he's been on the court. I said, bro, I've been there. I get it, man.
Mike Miller played on a number of Christmas days in the NBA.
You better believe it, with the Cavs.
Let's take away. Kalkbrenner tried to throw it diagonal, and it's intercepted by Gebrowit, who's got 2 personal fouls, and so does Nelson. Gebrowit got it over Farabello. Tough shot.
And Gebrowit with a beautiful jump stop. Again, he identified where Kalkbrenner was at, too, in the lane on the drive, and was able to reverse that pivot and knock in the tough little 2-point shot inside.
Shireman rugged, and it's a travel. Well, look, it's Christmas Day. We find out from some of the players what their favorite Christmas gifts are, other than college basketball.
My favorite Christmas present that I ever got was probably when I was like 7 years old, and my pops, he sent me some ankle weights. I had some ankle weights, man, and I was just happy to get them. I was just excited to work out in them and everything, so that's probably one of the best gifts I ever got.
Ugh, this rental car is...
For a while.
You think so?
Yeah, he'll let you run around for a minute.
I'm kind of a smart aleck. I think he might just be like, you know what, we're going to take him out in 30 seconds. Ryan Nembhard, early on, 8 points, shoot the ball pretty well.
Well, the reigning freshman, Big East freshman of the year, is feeling good right now. Good to see him back aggressive, playing hard. But also, if you look at his numbers, it's 5 assists. That means he's getting his teammates involved. I think the beauty of his game is his decision-making, when to pull it back, when to go. And this Creighton team, As good as Ryan Kalkbrenner is Ryan Nembhard, who kind of is the anchor for this team in regards to the tempo, the pace, and the attitude.
And here's a guy who had a game earlier this year with 12 assists and no turnovers against Holy Cross. Little hesitation, and the pitch to the corner, and there's a three. It's Farabello.
Able to orchestrate that Farabello three, but not discontinuing his dribble on the baseline. And Farabello able to get right into the sight lines. You got to know when your point guard is coming, where you need to be in order to receive that kind of pass.
Penn, no serve. A couple of misses off the front iron for Penn from three. And we have a trip, I believe. It's going to be a foul against Gibson. That's his second personal. So DePaul has 3 guys with 2 fouls, and it's not a very deep team.
The difference being Creighton plays defense without fouling. DePaul right now a little aggressive. The defense has been good. Got him back into this game down 4, but a great job by Creighton by responding to DePaul's run. Now they find themselves back up 12 with an opportunity to send it to 13 or 14.
Yeah, Creighton, 2 personal fouls here. They have allowed 131 free throw attempts in 13 games. It's about 10 a game. They've shot 84 more free throws than their opponents coming into today.
Well, one, you don't take chances when you're a defensive team like that, okay? What I mean is reaching. When you have a guy under control trying to reach down and strip it. 2, you're pretty much in position to help. So you don't have to be an outstanding one-on-one defensive player, but you have to be in position to support your teammates on defense, like on a string. We talk about it on offense the same way, and that's what Creighton is. And plus, you have an anchor in the middle that if you do happen to get beat off the dribble or back door, Kalkbrenner does a really good job of squaring up and not committing a lot of fouls inside, but the rim protection is where he excels the best at.
He's got like 2 games in his career with 4 fouls. Right. The Creighton fans wanted to travel there. Instead, it's tipped out of bounds by the Blue Jays.
Yeah, the officials missed that one.
That was a walk, right?
Yeah, he walked right outside that tunnel right there. Yeah,
that's right around where you got your pretzel earlier.
My pretzel was up top.
Ran into
Concourse. I should have had Mike pay for all that money he got for being an agent. He should have bought me a pretzel.
Oh, yeah, because you had such a short career in the NBA. That's a foul on Alexander.
Hey, listen, you know, professional athletes, we like free stuff, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Because as free as for me, give me 3. So I should have just asked him. Because he was in the jolly, festive mood. He would have got the pretzel.
He seemed jolly to you.
He did.
Mike Miller did earlier.
Real jolly.
Okay.
Probably a little nervous to see his son play.
Guaranteed, right? You know the feeling.
I do.
Free throw good for Gibson. 2 years at Oklahoma, 3 at North Texas. This is a very experienced DePaul team, nearly 21.5 years of age on average on this roster.
Yeah, he's a career 39% three-point shooter. Came in here 365, made 3s. You know, he reminds me a lot of.
Who's that?
Comp set, Darren Collison from UCLA.
Okay.
You look at his body, the way he plays the game, he reminds me, his demeanor, he reminds me a lot of Darren.
I like that.
Both wore number 2 as well.
Nembhard using the body, got a chance at the second opportunity, couldn't find the ball. Crucial couple of minutes for DePaul here. Kalkbrenner got the hand in, and still the finish from Penn.
And great observation by you, critical couple minutes. DePaul can keep this lead below double digits. You feel pretty good about yourself going into halftime, knowing you didn't play your best basketball. You're only 3 for 15 from behind the three-point line and only shoot 34% overall. But if you got this lead within double digits, 6 to 8 points, 4 points, you got something to build off on coming in the second half.
Well, look, DePaul has lost 16 straight games against Creighton. But you look back in the history when Ray Meyer was there and they had guys like Mark Aguirre. This was a series that got played every once in a while, and DePaul owned the series. This is a program that in a city like Chicago can be a sleeping giant. As the Blue Demons have the rebound, and Tony Stubblefield in year 2 trying to get DePaul back there. Even in the days like Quentin Richardson, Bobby Simmons, right? Early 2000s.
And it's going to take some time, but the athletic director, Dwayne Peavy, doing an excellent job of convincing his alumni base, the donors, how important basketball is, not only to win games and promote these young men, but what it brings. He calls it the front porch to the university.
Oh, Alexander rips the net. That is yet another three for Alexander, his fourth of the first half.
And how many of these threes have come off of an assist? So excellent passing, spacing, creating opportunities from Creighton for their teammates to get some open looks.
This is as loud as the crowd has been so far in Omaha on this Christmas Day. Terry with 5 to shoot against Alexander. Got by him and put it on the rim. Rebounds Shireman. He has a couple seconds, and that'll do it. Well, it's what you expected from the Creighton Blue Jays. They're 10 for 17 from 3 in the first half.
But excellent patience offensively. 9 assists to 13 made field goals. Kind of took to what Coach McDermott said, listen, not too many pull-up threes off the dribble. Let's move the basketball. We'll get what we want. Now you shoot a higher percentage, 10 for 17 from behind 3 and 52% overall.
Coming up after the break, we're coming back with highlights and analysis. Your Jeep halftime report from here in Omaha. Creighton by 11, trying to get win number 2 of the Big East. Jays 10 for 17 from 3. Our first half stats sponsored by Jeep. There's only one, and plus 12 in the rebounding number for Creighton as well. We hope you're enjoying your Christmas Day. I asked the wardrobe people to make me look as much like Kevin McAllister at the end of Home Alone 2 as possible. And Jim still has it.
So you just came back after halftime with the robe on.
I mean,
that's how you get
Christmas.
down, huh?
You know, on Christmas, sometimes you're like, I don't want to go anywhere. I'm just going to put on the robe, and it's never coming on.
I love it, brother. Be comfortable.
All right, what do you got on DePaul coming back in the second half? How do they do it?
Well, they did it because they were defensively active, getting a lot of steals, deflections, not allowing Creighton to be comfortable. But then their shot selection was a lot better and more efficient, which allowed them to score at a higher rate. They got back in the game. But give Creighton a lot of credit. They responded with their own defensive stops, offensively kind of got back into rhythm. And you talked about those three-pointers made, 10 of those, right? A lot of them came off assists, 9 assists in the first half for Creighton.
Before we get going to the second half, I apologize for breaking your hoop.
You did, too. You pulled the nets out.
Yeah. Sorry, there was my Jerome Lane impression. We have a foul against DePaul. Yeah. Foul against DePaul, 8 seconds in. It is really interesting to watch Creighton, and I've been here a bunch of years, but watching them from afar, they don't foul, they shoot the three well, and they're always looking for the open shot for a teammate.
If you move the ball and be patient, that's when the defense tends to break down. It's not going to break down in the first 5 seconds of a shot clock, okay? Unless you just have a poor defensive team. But if you move the ball side to side, force people to have to guard in space, your opponent, it should open up some opportunities, especially when you have outstanding shooting around the perimeter.
Oh, how about that? Kalkbrenner fell and then caught the ball on the end line.
Well, I mean, that's the disadvantage of being a 7-footer, too, because when you fall, it takes a little minute to hit the ground. That means you can't get back up quickly. Kalkbrenner just got his feet tangled up that time with Penn.
It's a really good catch. Now DePaul basketball for the first time here in the second half. They'll tuck it into the post for Penn. See what he has for Kalkbrenner, who just sort of mauled him with his size there. He didn't foul him, but he got into it.
What you have to do against Kalkbrenner, and it's easier said than done, you have to create enough space to get the shot off clean, whether that's with a little shoulder contact to the chest to create that space in between the two individuals, or have them on the move enough that now you're able to see your sight lines a little bit better at the rim.
Into Penn, and he tried to lean on Kalkbrenner, couldn't put it up in, and he just alters so much, doesn't he?
No, he does. His presence does. That time Penn had it, a little off balance, forced the shot to be a little stronger off the backboard. And Baylor Shireman right there got hit below the belt just a little bit. Had to walk it off. Catch his breath. You played dodgeball when you was younger?
Yeah, but I didn't play for long.
I
was out fast, Jim.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah?
That's okay.
Well, what's the rest of your story?
Well, because in dodgeball, a lot of times you could be susceptible to some things.
to being roasted on an open fire, you could say?
No, just, you know. Last comment, I'm going to let it go.
Yeah.
Because you totally missed it right there.
No, I'm on it.
Okay.
If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. I'll tell you that much. Oh, Gibson had it swatted into next Tuesday by Kalkbrenner.
And see, the drop zone that Kalkbrenner plays, he forces you to have to make a quick decision. If you don't shoot that floater, now you take an extra dribble, you're coming into my territory. And when you do that, the advantage now skews towards me with the block right there inside.
By the way, 4 fouls on Gebrowit too quickly here in the second half. Kalkbrenner forces the wraparound, and it got there to Penn for 2. When you watch off the ball, this Creighton defense, and you watch tape of them playing without Kalkbrenner, it looks like a totally different team defensively.
Well, it does find itself in help position a little bit more. But when DePaul is able to shift the defense a little bit and be patient, they've gotten some really good looks, offensive foul.
Yes, sir. Johnson. The bigs in the Big East have been so fun to watch so far in 2023. Jack Nungy, the transfer from Iowa. Klingon and Sanogo together.
You know what's interesting? The game has shifted so much towards three-point line, but yet and still, when you look at your conferences, a lot of them, their first team selection or even All-American teams are bigs. Whether that's Oscar Tshiebwe, whether that's Kalkbrenner, whether that's Zach Edey, Drew Timme, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Nembhard got another 3. Oh, a sweet stroke from Nembhard. You and I watched a lot of Big Ten last year, and the Big Ten went through the big guys last season with Kofi Coburn, and Trace Jackson-Davis, and Edey and Travion Williams, and all the rest.
Yeah, and those were some typical throwbacks you see. That Penn
for 3.
But you saw last year the bigs that were not your pick and pop bigs. They were on the post bigs that, you know, kind of punished you inside a lot. Kind of a throwback from that perspective.
Kalkbrenner, nice catch and score off the pivot. Nembhard, controlled closeout, and still Terry for 2. We got a timeout called by DePaul. Speaking of bigs,
old school post up. That means get the ball deep in the paint, seal your defender. Nice little jump hook inside. I'd love to see it.
Well, welcome back in Creighton. Hold on to a 12-point lead. Listen, you have a Ryan Kalkbrenner inside. You want to utilize him, but you want to create space. Watch Ryan Hart as he makes his cut through the lane, able to clear enough space to the corner, which is very important because now you have a shooter in the corner. Arthur Gluma is now going to come up and release the weak side, and now you have an empty corner. Kalkbrenner's able to seal, get his defender, I think that's Penn on his back, and now get deep post position inside, and the ball is on time, on target. Kalkbrenner, easy money inside with the catch. That's the beauty of having a post-up player. Again, in the era of three-point shooting, it's great to have, but sometimes go through those situations where you need some twos to kind of quell the storm, or also just increase your lead. Having a big that has soft hands and a soft touch inside is a pleasure to have.
well, you know you're not going to shoot it great every night. I mean, I had Xavier Seton Hall the other night. Xavier, a great shooting team, not shoot it well from 3, and they needed some post touches and won game off of it.
Well, and that's what you got to rely on. I know that the percentages say you want either a layup or a 3, but sometimes you need to make some tough twos. If you can have a post player that can, kind of calm the storm a little bit and knock in some shots.
Alexander for 3.
I tell you what, it feels good to be home. Butler now against DePaul. the rim has to look like an ocean for Creighton right now because, again, they're able to decipher kind of what shots they want without a lot of resistance. Beautiful footer that time by Gibson.
Our friend John Fenton tweeted this, I saw it during the break, that this homestand comes at the perfect time for the Creighton Blue Jays. They'll play Seton Hall on January 3rd. Players are going to get to go home for 3 days after this and get their break. So perfect timing. Alexander once again tears the net. A career day for Trey Alexander, the sophomore from OKC. And this is the ball turnover.
Well, 'tis a season, the giving season, and that's what Creighton Blue Jays are doing with their teammates right now. You open, take a shot. Trey Alexander says thank you very much. And once again, it's Arthur Kaluma giving the ball up. Trey doesn't disappoint, feeling really good. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Talent. It is tremendous method acting by the DePaul basketball team with a reenactment of a Christmas story. Just some of the great holiday names over the years. Rakeem Christmas very on the nose for today. Nerlens Noel.
Nerlens Noel, that's a good one. I like that one. Rakeem Christmas.
Has there ever been a college basketball player named Yule, like Yule Brenner? If we had a Yule?
I'm sure back in the day, when Yule was probably a name that people used back in the 50s.
You're saying it's not a popular 2010s name? Okay.
Not gonna happen.
Catching up with what's hip. Here's them hard in the paint. And the rebound for DePaul. Pretty good acting, by the way. By the way, kids, do not try that at home. The thing with the lamppost, they don't. It's just an acting thing. Don't do it.
Hustle that time
down there by Penn.
But that's the kind of fight it's going to take if you want to get back in this game here at DePaul. Multiple efforts on the offensive glass when the shot goes up, but the defensive it gets out. Listen, in your road games this year, DePaul is 2-3. And again, it goes back to shooting. They shoot 38% overall, only 34 from 3. And only averaging 62 points a game. So you have to figure out ways offensively to be more effective when you're on the road. And one way is to get multiple looks offensively, high percentage shots at the rim. Get yourself to the free throw line once again.
Yeah, and it's tough against a team that doesn't foul like Creighton does. As the officials are stopping play here, Kalkbrenner came to the sideline. They're going to take a look at that foul down low. It's Kip Kissinger, Lamar Simpson, and Mike Roberts here. 3 officials. Give you some blood there, too, as Kalkbrenner's Christmas present is dental work.
Now they're looking at the foul, what happened after the foul.
Could be both. Let's see.
So watch right. After the shot goes up, right there. See how Kalkbrenner took him down? Or they got entangled. So I think they were looking at that, where that was a hook. And just, see, watch right here. And I don't think there's anything done maliciously, but the arms get caught right here. See how the pull is right there on the arm by Kalkbrenner? And it pulls Penn down.
It's going to be a common foul, so nothing untoward, as they say in soccer. Second foul on Kalkbrenner. Untoward.
So we got soccer reference.
Yeah. We have the yellow card on the graphic down there for the official review, so it reminded me.
Okay.
Penn from the line. No good. 4 years at Long Island for Errol Penn. One of the top free throw makers in the Northeast Conference. He was second free throw makes last year. Got to the line a lot.
Well, the challenge you have when you bring in some transfers, multiple players, is trying to get connectivity. The beauty about this Creighton team is you have returning players who play together multiple games and understand each other. You can have talent, and if that talent is taking time to mesh, you're going to be inconsistent. In particular, when you face higher competition, I think you said with DePaul.
Oh boy, rim run for Alexander, and dangled off the rim. Going to count the basket, I think.
The goaltend.
This is the goaltend, yep.
Beautiful play, and that play was set up to get the back door, knowing that DePaul would play, overplay that time. Gibson, he's a senior. He understands how to play that position, but that time he gave up the backdoor cut.
The work continues on Kalkbrenner, by the way, over on the sideline. We just saw. Now finally, the cut man has walked away from the corner.
Tougher to stop the bleeding inside the mouth because it's hard for you to put ointment on like you would normally do for a cut.
Have you had that happen to you?
Oh, big time. Bit my tongue, got hit inside. So the bleeding sometimes, it takes a minute for it to stop.
Shireman off one leg and the rebound for Ken. DePaul about 500 last year in the first year under Tony Stubblefield. This is year number 2. After Dave Lato's second stint, Barry Wainwright's been the head coach there, Oliver Purnell as well, but no tournament since 2004. And the rebound battle, King went down to the deck. This will be a tie-up, and it's going to stay with Paul.
Well, at least last year, it snapped a streak of 5 straight last place Big East fishing. They won 6 conference games after just winning 5 over the 2 previous seasons. You go 15 to 16, almost 500 overall. You make improvements, and that's how improvements have to be judged. It's not all of a sudden you're going to come in here and next thing you know you're NCAA tournament team, you win in the Big East. And incrementally, can you see the changes? And I think you're starting to see that, despite maybe not having all of the success early, but you are starting to see the changes that not only Coach Stubblefield has put in place, but athletic director Dwayne Beeps has also been able to do.
Well, look, this team, you know, back in the Ray Meyer days, this was a national power, DePaul. I mean, when you're growing up, a generation even before that, this was a team that was on national television all the time, was a great program, and it's there. It's waiting to happen for Dwayne Peavy, the athletic director.
It is. You know, Dwayne Peavy talked about the importance of what athletics brings to the table for the entire university. Keep in mind, this DePaul team in the 70s benefited from what? WGN. They were on, which was a regional network, but you can get it in a lot of local markets.
Yep.
So they were the team before ESPN came and really catapulted the Big East, where you could watch them.
Take your pick for Shireman here, and he's going to get 2 free throws for Nembhard. They were one of the pioneers on television in college basketball, the DePaul Blue Demons.
Well, I was in Ohio, and I knew DePaul because I was able to tune in WGN and catch those early DePaul teams when I was younger. I evened itself out once ESPN got into the fold and the Big East kind of rolled in. But what they're trying to do and bring back between, like I said, Peavy and Stubblefield is a sense of pride, a sense of honor of what DePaul basketball has meant. But it takes time. But I think they're on the right track in regards to the moves that they're making, increasing their budget, spending budget in order to get, charter flights, new practice facility, fan and the student engagement.
With as much as we're talking about college basketball on television, Andrew Marchand's going to tweet real soon. Everybody wants to report on sports media. We're going to get one of those. Might as well take the shot if it's there, and Johnson missed it. And rebound down for Frederick King for Creighton. Alexander really put a second hand on the ball, and this mid-range jumper is so pure.
It's just been, and again, this is no disrespect to DePaul, but it's been an easy go at it by Alexander this afternoon. Now, he makes it look easy because of his skill set, too, but he's been able to get to any spot on the court he needed to get to without or with little resistance.
Farabello waits for the landing spot. King a little juggle and put it on too strong. You see the youth, a little bit of Frederick King, who got some playing time with Kalkbrenner out. 3 for Javen Johnson, who had 6 in the first half.
But Frederick King, because of the extended playing time when Kalkbrenner was out, going to play huge dividends later, as now he gets a real sense and feel what it means to play meaningful minutes in tough game situations.
Yeah, Greg McDermott was talking about how much better the questions are he's asking, and the clear out from Paluma was pretty open and obvious.
But that goes back to, it can be a silver lining within an absence of a player, which is King Jr. getting valuable experience. And Paluma got away with a put-off in the first half. Similar situation, but this time the official said, no, not this time. Labeled him right there with the offensive foul.
Well, when the defender falls, and you could basically yell timber as he's falling.
He's falling like 2 feet outside the out of bounds line.
Get you. That's where they get you. Gibson feeds the post.
Great help that time by Kalkbrenner.
Nelson, the skip, got it to Cruz, who knew it was short. Nemmer trying to make himself small around the Kalkbrenner screen. There's another one for Kalkbrenner. A handoff, Alexander. Kalkbrenner just erased the defender, but they couldn't get the 3 up. So now with 6 to shoot, it's Nembhard working on Cruz into the dribble, tunneling into the lane. Nembhard missed it.
That's great one-on-one defense. Zion Cruz right there to keep Nembhard in front of him, then contest at the end without fouling.
Tremendous on-ball defense there. So DePaul trailing by 14. Nelson hits the deck, kept the dribble. Let's see, we got a timeout called by DePaul. Timeout DePaul, so because he's dribbling the ball, it's not travel. And Tony Stubblefield gets a timeout, and we will hear from DePaul's head coach about his Christmas memories on this December 25th.
That's a big question. My greatest Christmas present ever. I think was getting the jukebox. It was back in the day when people walking down the street holding the jukeboxes up to their ear, and I was just so excited to get one that year from my mother that I probably carried that thing for about a year.
Bring more coaches to underserved communities across the country. Hey, while we have this basketball hoop here, why don't you demonstrate to me what Ryan Kalkbrenner means defensively for Creighton?
Right here. Trying to do anything. You can't do it. You can't even. Can you see the rim?
Like,
Can you see the rim?
I can't see the rim right now.
That's right. Now, if I got 2 hands,
but if I go
plus
over the top,
body,
oh, man.
they're still there.
That's impossible.
See,
well, but go big or go home, my shirt. Oh, yeah, let's go. Let's go.
Let's go. That was a go big or go home. I give you this one. I give you that one.
That was a great demonstration. That's why we.
That was Ryan all day. Every now and then you go slide in and get a basket or 2 inside, which is true to form. And good after timeout play and time for Paul to be able to get that shot again. It's only an 11-point game.
Yep.
Okay. Despite DePaul only shooting 35%, they're still within very much so striking distance.
Miller the kick, and that is Shireman.
And you know, good teams figure out ways to respond to keep the pressure on their opponents. Right there, the dribble by Miller, then the shot by Shireman.
Gibson to miss. Here is Cruz. And his jumper is no good. Rebound action comes to sideline on a whistle. Now, we're joking around. Look, we're joking around, and we'll watch Shireman hit this 3. But your point about not being able to see the rim is an important one, right? With Kalkbrenner in there defensively.
It really is, especially if you're a post-up player and you're trying to get your jumper core, a nice little runner inside. Or if you're a guard, that penetrating down the lane, your clear vision is to be able to have your sight on the rim. And I know when you get good enough, sometimes you say you can do it with your eyes closed. That's one thing.
Yeah.
But when you see a 7-footer with a 7-foot plus wingspan too, you know, in your face, is a little different kind of deterrent.
Well, there was right there. He's on the back line, and Gibson turned away from the basket instead of going up, right?
It was repetition precedes itself.
Oh, how about that turnaround for Nelson, who was looking to the fans, I think, for somebody to yell at, and there was just nobody there. He was excited about the make. 61-49. Creighton by 12, under 10 to go, and we're going to call a foul against DePaul here. Let's watch Kalkbrenner here and the spin from Gibson.
Well, the dribble penetration now, to see the drop coverage by Kalkbrenner, but Gibson, he lost it a little bit, but he lost it because you know where his eyes were at?
On 11. That's exactly right. It's a great point, Jay, and yeah, we did a demonstration with a hoop that's on your chest, but I think it's the first time in American history it's happened. But your point is well taken.
The luxury to have inside as your anchor on the defensive side. And beautiful underneath 5 bounds play got Shireman, the shot, unable to convert it. Can DePaul take advantage here in the secondary break?
Terry met by Shireman. Look at all that length outside for Creighton against a shorter DePaul team. And Ane with the miss. Offensive rebound for Nelson. And he leans in, and it's called an offensive foul against Nelson.
And that's fair blow right there. To get great effort by Nelson to get the offensive rebound over the back without committing the foul. But look, Farabello, I talked about what makes a very good defensive team a great defensive team. Are you in position?
Yep.
Farabello was in position to slide a step or two over to get his feet outside of the restricted arc to be able to pick up that charge. Yeah, that's defensive discipline by Creighton.
How much does Greg McDermott like Farabello?
Oh, he loves his energy. He was talking about last game. Farabello not really scoring the ball well last game, but it was his energy. He was 0 for 2. But he raved about his energy in that Butler game and what it brought and how it changed the tone a little bit.
Can't help but as you watch Farabello wear the specific jersey for Creighton, think about his home nation win the World Cup. He's born in Argentina. He is a fan of Messi, and he's a fan of that team, and he's wearing the color, basically, of that soccer team. Father played for Argentina in 1996 in the Olympic Games. Francisco has played some under-19 action in the FIBA World Cup for Argentina as well. And he made that feed to get Kaluma to the free throw line. He missed the first.
Guess you had a tip on it.
It was 11.
Yeah.
And we have a foul against DePaul. That's going to be number 8 on the Bluejays. Now Creighton just 5 of 10 from the foul line so far.
Yeah, you're talking about a team that shoots it. But they're right around 71%, which is low for a Creighton team.
Yeah.
71%.
It's going to be a 1-and-1 for Alexander. And you said it very early. DePaul typically will want to get to the foul line with this smaller lineup, but Creighton just does not foul. 7 free throws for the Bluejays so far.
Alexander right now has an opportunity. 26 minutes on 25 points. Make that 26. Even with my math and education at Ohio State, that's a point a minute, right?
Well, you did a great job in your business courses, I've heard.
That's right, you know.
Yeah. Volleyball, the
see, now you said you. See, well, there you go. You're not supposed to do that.
Hey, you said it last time we worked together. It's not my fault. It's on the rec. Shireman bumped and foul. That's a big hit by David Johnson.
You know what I love about this fast break? It was old school. Hey, why is it old school? Shireman didn't flare to the corner for a three. He went for the layup. So off the steal, Alexander is in the middle. And Shireman goes old school and goes to the basket. Generally, you'll see a lot of times in today's game, the wings will spread to the corners and settle for maybe a three.
Yep. Isn't it interesting that you can run a break that people would have said is traditional 25 years ago as a tendency breaker now?
It is not, because it catches you off guard when you see it, unless you're wide open. You suck that defender and you're able to get it, but most of the time you're seeing the sprays to the corner or to the wing for a three. That's almost more so the new school traditional fast break.
They'll get Shireman this foul here. Again, though, people can say, well, analytics is hurting this game or that game, but 3 is more than 2, right? I mean, there's a reason people do it. Like, 3 is worth more than 2.
Yeah, but let me tell you something. Everybody doesn't need to shoot the 3. Every team doesn't need to be able to hoist up 33s.
No, it's based on your personnel. It should be, right?
Exactly, and it's based on shot selection, too.
How about that shot selection? Nelson.
Hey, Sean, listen, from Toledo, Ohio, went to Toledo Rogers, where I'm from, grew up in my neighborhood, and he moved over with his mom. But making the adjustment, going from JUCO, where he was very successful, now to big-time D1, big-time Big East. He said the pace was a little bit faster. He's making that adjustment, but he can add value to this Blue Demons team.
Oh, wow. Shireman looked like a shot you might do in horse. It's a 16-point lead again for Creighton. You and Nelson both big Jamie Farr and Mudhens fans, I'm certain. There's a three for DePaul. You didn't?
Oh, man.
None of that for you?
Well, I knew Jamie Farr, and it was Tony Bacos, which is a big. He's always referenced that in MASH. Which I never went. It was on the east side of the city. Never went over there. I know.
Well, when I went to Mudhens games, I used to go.
You used to go to Mudhens games?
Yeah. Well, I was in play for a long time.
What?
Yeah.
With the new stadium or old stadium?
The new one.
Fifth Third Field.
Yeah. If you tuned in for Toledo history, you have come to the right place. And Creighton looks better. This is a Creighton team that's trying to get right. It seems like they have. They're up 13. Merry Christmas to all, and to all good Toledo.
He is, and you know, the evolution of a player is what you want to see. The next step, next journey. You know, the 6'4" sophomore from Oklahoma is improving his game, particularly from the three-point line. Keep in mind, coming to this game, he's already made 17 threes. Now, plus 6 is 23. He made 18 all of last year. Improved is what you want to see, because he teased us a lot last year with his ability to get to the basket, to create, and now he's taking that next jump, and you see what he's done this afternoon on Christmas. It's another level he can get to. I believe he's playing with the right system and the right coaching staff to get him where he ultimately needs to be.
Well, Kalkbrenner got the hip out, and DePaul, the bench was apoplectic. They wanted foul. Instead, they get a Shireman faceful, and he missed the three. Gibson weaving into a two. That draws iron. I'll tell you what, DePaul has been really engaged on the offensive glass.
But that's an area, if he can move Kalkbrenner out the way, beautiful block that time by Nelson, you can get some second opportunities. But you got to get up quick before he's able to recover.
Nelson right into Shireman. And he licked it out. Rebound tipped by Kalkbrenner. Moving down to 6 minutes to go here in Omaha. Nemhard so smooth. And tipped out of bounds.
Deshaun Nelson right here, front position. But that time, Deshaun understood where the ball was going, and he started to move. The ball was in flight, which gave him enough time to bat that shot away by Kalkbrenner.
Shireman nearly had it pinned. Farabello made himself available. Kalkbrenner trying to seal. It ends up with Alexander.
Well, good contest that time. Jay Terry right there, able to get out and contest that.
Oh, how about Johnson undeterred for two? It's an 11-point game.
DePaul, good mindset. By the 3-minute mark, if you get this down to 6 points,
you're in it.
7 points, you're in this game. And again, it's going to have to start. You're going to have to get the stops here, the multiple stops here, like we saw in the first half from DePaul in the defensive end.
Alexander found himself a three. That's no good. DePaul will take that shot up.
Big time. Yeah, under rest that time, Alexander. Let's see if DePaul can capitalize on a very good defensive stop. Get something positive on the offensive end.
Gibson to the trailer. Ane. Penn an offensive rebound. And nice defense by Kalkbrenner. A lot of Alexander last couple possessions. He got bumped, and that is the last thing DePaul needed. 2 free throws coming. How about Javen Johnson, a DePaul transfer from Iowa State?
A beautiful snake dribble right here inside off pick by Ane. And able to get inside. Now, you know, we talked about the activity here at DePaul, especially on the offensive. That's 10 offensive rebounds, right? But you're only able to convert that in 7 points. Why? Is because Kalkbrenner, and we may be overemphasizing, but it is the case that even though he's out of position, he gets back in position rather quick and takes away that opportunity, which with maybe another team that doesn't have the shot blocker, you can get those points. Because if you have 10 offensive rebounds and you're able to get couple points for that. You're closer to 15, 16, 17 points off the second shots. This is the different game, despite not shooting well.
Well, and that's why I would say I don't think we're overemphasizing anything, because we all watched Creighton without Ryan Kalkbrenner, and we're giving up points at the rim. Ane and King. Johnson into the lane for Terry. Nice closeout. Farabello called for the foul. He leaned in with the shoulder. That's number 7. So DePaul will get 1-1, and maybe the Blue Demons can find comeback trail from the foul line. You said it. They are 11th in the country in free throw percentage entering play today.
And this is a really good situation. I'm sure the coaching staff is emphasizing to their players right now, drive the ball. They drive the ball, make multiple passes, drive and kick, force. Now Creighton have to guard you off the dribble, and if they do, and you create some contact, now you're able to force the official maybe to call a foul. You get yourself to the free throw line with the clock stopped.
And grind the game down a little bit. Keep Creighton out of transition, right? At the same time,
10-point lead.
Double screen, Shireman King. Shireman off of it, breaks to his left, gets into the lane on the kick. Farabello knocks it down. On the other end, the layup won't go for DePaul and Ane. Lead of 13 for Creighton. There's another high screen from King. Nembhard goes to the right. How big was that?
But it was a decision in transition not to force it where he could have. So he brought the ball back out, and then he utilized the pick and roll.
Shireman trying to bring the crowd on. King slots it away. Ane the follow, no sir. On a third chance, that won't go. A fourth try is there, and a big scream coming for DePaul on the fourth opportunity for Penn. It's a tough ball team down low. I mean,
you know what? They fight. Okay, what they may lack sometimes in offensive proficiency, they're going to try to beat you up physically. It's a matter of putting that physicality with kind of doing the right things offensively and getting some stop defensively, because they have talent. There's no question about that with DePaul.
And good, certainly. Alexander, and that's a shot clock violation. 2:41 to go. DePaul trying to make this a game. They need a couple of buckets. First ever Christmas Day game in the Big East, and it has been rather entertaining here in Omaha.
Just like the ones I used to know, where the tree
23 or something.
Yeah. Well, Greg McDermott evidently, well, he said to Frederick King evidently, when it was 30 degrees, hey, is it cold? Because Fred's from the Bahamas. And then he said, well, if you think this is cold, it's going to get 30 degrees cold. Sorry, bud.
Yeah, welcome to the Midwest, buddy.
It happens sometimes.
No, it happens a lot. It happens every winter. What do you mean?
I know you love it.
Oh.
Penn missed another 3. Yeah.
You know what? Let me send out some love to second-year AD Marcus. Awesome here at Creighton. Really excited about accepting this opportunity to play.
Yep.
You know, former 3-time all-conference player at Northeastern back in the 90s. He, along with Wayne Peavy, kind of really pushing the basketball narrative. Beautiful move. High time by Nembhard. The basketball narrative as an anchor for a lot of things that can go right and grow at their respective universities.
Yeah, it's a very proud program for Creighton, and they just lost one of their own, Paul Silas, recently. But a very proud program. Bob Gibson came through here, and basketball in the Big East on Christmas, I hope this continues because it feels right. There's a lot of people care. It feels big, doesn't it?
It does.
I think the sweaters really make it feel big.
No, you just like the. That's all. That's all it is.
First time I've ever done it without step ladder.
And actually, though, you were actually the first time in your life you're taller than the rim.
That is 1,000% true. Terry for three. What do you think Big East is going to look like this year, and how good is Creighton as we wind down?
Well, Creighton, preseason pick to win it, okay? Keep in mind, this team can play. You have all the intangibles from guard play to a post-up center. Defensively, they're good. UConn is an outlier in regards to their strength, their size, their athleticism. Xavier, I think, is going to be better once we get, I mean, they're good, but I think they still have, their ceiling is a little bit higher.
Alexander reload.
Beautiful game. Providence is always going to be there with it. Villanova is getting healthy. Ken Whitmore is in the fold. A lot of drama, I believe, will take place in the Big East this year.
And this crowd reaction is part of the reason that you want to have Christmas Day in this building as well. Creighton picked one, Xavier two. Villanova gets Cam Whitmore back, and we saw one of his first games back. They're scary with him.
They're scary because now offensively, Cal Neptune can be a little bit more creative with his offensive power. Marquette, think about the huge wins at home they had when they destroyed Baylor at home. They beat Creighton at home. So it's a lot of intrigue. Yeah, a lot depends on health. A lot of these programs that we've seen early in the season. But UConn, I think, has separated itself early in regards to kind of being the cream of the crop right now as we speak, December 25th. But we know how quickly all of that can change.
We'll see them on the 28th. Rabbi will have UConn Villanova over on FS1 in a couple of days. But today on Christmas Day, first time ever in Big East, Creighton wins at home 80-65, and the Blue Jays have their 17th straight win over DePaul. It's the longest win streak over a D1 opponent in school history. And Jimmy, this is what Creighton expected to be at the beginning of the year.
They are. They kind of recovered the last two games from dropping those 6. They've learned a lot, better shot selection. Things are happening defensively. Those percentages dropped when the ball wasn't going in regards to defensive wise. But sometimes you got to take a step back to take 2 steps forward. You don't want to lose 6 in a row, don't get me wrong. But again, they're learning points that coaches can point out and utilize tape for that can help this team continue to grow and be ready for conference play and postseason.
We will say farewell. Merry Christmas to you,
Merry
Jimmy.
Christmas to you and your family too, bro.